inquiry is the pedagogical focus of Session 4. New York City, Bowu students explore Esmeralda Santiago's memoir, When I Was Puerto Rican. Inspired by Santiago's style and structure, the students began creating their own memoirs.
We lived in Puerto Rico and Americans came and invaded. How would you feel about that?
I feel bad in a way, but after a while I noticed that the American way of living is much better, because the way in which I'm living, I'm not even receiving that much. I'm looking at the American dream, and American dream is like being rich, live in a big house, have a family, and have pets, all of the above.
That's true, but sometimes the little things is enough. Family, you don't need a nice car, a big house all the time, because, you know, just family being there, waking up every morning should be pleasing to a lot of people, because a lot of people don't have that.
If I'm in a poor family living in Puerto Rico and I receive money, I'm going to be real happy. I'm going to help out everybody I can, because before I never had nothing. But if I'm going back to my country, I help out the people that's in need.
That's true, but I'm not trying to like say that wanting a big house and wanting to have a lot of money is the wrong thing. But you know, sometimes it's more to life than that.
Would you read your questions to me?
So often, kids really feel like other people have culture and they don't have culture. And I think what you see here is her inviting them to tell their own stories. And I really think that that's the place from which curriculum has to begin.
All right, so don't feel limited or restricted in any way.
So far, I'm interested in the one that I was asking later, like what would motivate you as a teenager to keep trying to adapt to a different tradition and culture even in the face of so many obstacles?
Fine, okay, yes, a question could be a topic, absolutely. You have a little bit answer, but you don't have the entire answer, and you're going to find out later on. And what's the topic you have chosen, Elaine?
What makes someone an American? I mean, you could see it from so many different perspectives. I mean, he might see it in one way and I might see it in another.
Terrific. All right, so make sure you may put that list of questions and really put that list in the internet classroom so we can all share those wonderful topics, okay? As you were having a small group discussion, I was walking around and I joined in some of the discussions, and you really have come up with some wonderful topics. Well, tonight, as part of the homework assignment, I would like you to revisit the internet classroom, and besides reading, going over the lists in our internet classroom, I would like you to write the third journal, which is, I'd like you to sort of analyze, okay, how is this topic, American invasion of Macomb, described in this chapter? And we will use these techniques in our own memoir writing. Tomorrow, we're going to discuss exactly how Santiago wrote about the topic, American invasion, in this chapter. Okay, and see you tomorrow. Hello, everyone. Hopefully last night you got a chance to revisit our internet classroom, and also I hope you have already finalized your topic. We're going to discuss together how did Santiago explore the topic American invasion in this chapter. And from this analysis, we will learn some techniques of memoir writing. Okay, how did Santiago exactly explain or tell us stories about American invasion? How did she illustrate this idea, American invasion? Amanda?
With education, because they were teaching the English language in the schools, and they had to learn English songs, and they didn't even know what the songs meant. They were just like forced to learn them.
So you said were forced to learn English in school. Okay. What are some other changes that this American invasion brought upon her? Cassie?
In the Central Communal, they had different kinds of foods, so they were forced to learn different ways of eating instead of the regular way they was taught to eat.
So they had to change their diet, okay? Okay? So what other aspects did Santiago explore relating to the topic?
They had to change hygienic habits.
Very good. They were shown how to brush their teeth and other hygienic habits. Very good. Are there any other aspects explored also by Santiago relating to the topic? Shana?
I'm not really sure about it, but I think in a way it kind of affected her social life because when she was at school, like all her friends kind of was like eager to take on like new things with the food and everything. She sort of felt like an outsider because she didn't want to change it. She wanted to eat the same food she'd been eating forever, and she didn't want to eat American eggs and chocolate milk and all of that. So in a way it affected her social life.
All right. Her social life, I would just say, okay, changes in many aspects, dramatic changes in her life. How did her mother react to this American invasion? Cassie?
Her mother agreed with the changes. She liked the fact that they were introducing new stuff into Puerto Rico.
So it seems in all the stories she told, that was the only positive part of the story. Maybe as you are writing about your own memoir, also think in terms of all different directions, all different feelings, negative and positive. Okay? Negative experiences or positive experiences. Okay, now let's go back to this event. Forced to learn English. Do you remember Miss Jimenez? What kind of woman she was? What kind of teacher she looked like? Remember that part? Why? Why do you have such a good picture of that lady? Amanda?
Because Santiago used very descriptive language in that portion of the chapter.
Yes, very good. Descriptive language. So using descriptive language in your memoir writing is very, very important. Okay? Now, we have direct dialogues, which is what you read in Santiago's memoir, the direct conversations between father and Negi. And also there could be another way of writing what happened, which is indirect speech. Instead of Santiago let the characters talk, Santiago talks for the characters. As a reader, which one would you prefer?
I would rather use a direct dialogue because you actually get to see different point of views from different characters and you get a better feel for the story. Besides, it's different when you have an indirect dialogue because only one person is talking, so you don't really get to see how other characters feel.
Terrific. Okay, so I hope that you can use this technique, okay, and of using direct dialogues in your memoir writing and let the characters talk for themselves, instead of you telling the readers what happened. Okay? Now we're going to do an activity, which is we're going to create a timeline. Okay, we're going to use timeline to help you explore and discover some of the stories in your life, you know, about the topic you have chosen. Okay? So there are two kinds of timelines you can create. In a chronological timeline, students list the events in the order they took place. What we did before, I said, what is your reaction to the topic? And is there a story or are there stories behind your reactions? This is what I would like you to do right now. Write that story call that story event 1 or main event. Right here in the center of your paper. Is there another event that took place prior to the main event? We'll call this event 2. Timelines serve as a structure. It's about helping them get ideas to start writing their memoir. There were so many things that have taken place in their life. They don't know where to begin. And timelines help them see things, give them a little structure as well. Now, there's another way of creating a timeline. You don't really have to arrange the events, okay? in the ways they took, in the order when they took place. Okay, now we're going to do as what Santiago did. As you can see in this diagram, all the events are related to the same topic or theme. So we call this a thematic timeline. Just sort of to help you bring out your memories, okay, in the past, so evolving the topic you have chosen. And also remember, any event can be triggered by what? An image, a smell, a scent, or a touch. So make sure to remember, okay, you remember using your 5 senses as your resources. Santiago's memoir really has given a very good example what good memoir writing is like. You use descriptive language. And where that comes from, you need to use your 5 senses. What causes smell? What is that smell about? Maybe that could lead you to a story, a touch, a certain feeling, sad, happiness. See, it doesn't have to be faces. Going back to Santiago's memoir, memoir is about personal experience, personal stories. And yet, we did see the historic or cultural background of her personal story. American invasion, she called it. And that changed her life. And same thing, and students, when they do their own memoir writing, maybe one event, so exactly what caused that event to occur? Remember in Santiago's memoir, when she described the diet, what was really happening in the country? What was happening in the country? In Macun, in her village.
They were being invaded
by
the Americans.
By the Americans, right. That was the cultural background. So when you try to tell a story, what was happening in your town, in your community, even larger picture, maybe in the whole world, somehow that affected your life maybe, and that's what you want to write about, right? Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Great. It just makes their memoir more sophisticated. And again, memoir is still about personal writing, and also it shows really your personal life is not just your life. It's connected to so many other things that you may not be aware of. All right, as tonight's homework, what I would like you to do is pick 2 events, major events, okay, in the timeline, and I would like you to describe the events and then do research online to find out what the historic and the cultural background were when the event was taking place. It is your life that you're writing about, and you really need to know what you really like to explore further. Once you finish exploring 1 or 2 of the selected events and movements, then you can start writing a short memoir excerpt that relates the events on your timeline to the historic or cultural movements. So good luck and have fun with the memoir writing. And you'll bring in your first draft of your research plus the description of 1 or 2 main events. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow.